Look inside his hatband. Here it is.
Arizona lottery ticket, 875-19.
That's it. Let's get out of here.
The 10% Ring, a political gang who ran Arizona territory in the 80s, decided to operate a big lottery for the ostensible purpose of raising money for new schools. The lottery was supposed to pay off $380,000, but it paid off in murder, thievery, and trouble for Marshal Wyatt Earp. 3 murders in less than 5 hours. Cowhand, a miner, and a store clerk. Why?
Gun smugglers, maybe.
Oh, that doesn't make sense. These were poor men. They had to work hard for the living.
Maybe they gambled.
With what?
Did you ever see any of these? Arizona lottery, Deacon.
Of course I've seen it. Why would they be killed for lottery tickets? They haven't even had the drawing yet.
How do you know? Maybe that Prescott crowd is a little slow in telling the newspapers the results.
The Prescott gang wouldn't get involved in murder. No, it would have to be the 10% Ring in Tucson. You think they've taken over?
Why, that Shiloh Smith would try anything.
Well, the papers have done said that Governor Fremont himself is handling the drawing.
He wouldn't get involved in something like that.
Granted. But 5 will get you 10 that those Tucson boys must have a man installed somewhere and were tipped off as to the winning numbers and whoever bought those tickets.
Let's go check the men that were killed. See if we can find out whether they bought tickets.
Big 8, loser. Hello, Mr. Milligan.
Excuse me, boys. Johnny, got a deal I want to talk to you about. In the back room.
Johnny don't want a deal.
What Clara means, Mr. Milligan, is that I'm kind of busy right now.
This won't take 2 minutes.
All right. Take over, Lee.
Johnny, wait. Johnny, take this.
What's that for?
You may need it, honey.
Honey, I know Mr. Milligan.
Johnny, please, take it.
All right, all right. Now, you satisfied?
Honey, be careful.
All right. Yes, sir, Mr. Milligan.
Now, Johnny, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Want to sell your lottery ticket?
My lottery ticket?
Well, you got one, ain't you?
I might have.
Well, I'm buying up tickets. Now, I know you're a bad luck boy. That's why they call you Johnny Behind the Deuce.
That's right.
Still in all, I reckon I could give you twice what you paid for it.
Well, now, that's a nice sum, Mr. Milligan, but I promised Clara I wouldn't sell it. She's working on a hunch.
What do you want for it?
Well, I told you, Mr. Milligan, I can't sell it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, too. I've got to have it.
Well, hold on there. Why pick on me?
Come on, hand it over.
Well, I told you I can't.
Why, you think...
I'll get a good lawyer for you, honey.
Just a minute, Miss Claire. You're in love with Johnny, aren't you?
I want to marry him. Why?
Because Johnny's in a lot more trouble than he realizes. He's still in danger. Did you know that Milligan is part of the 10% Ring?
Yes, Johnny met him in Tucson. Milligan was working for Shiloh Smith, kind of a big political J.
Yes, I know, Mr. Smith. Do you have any idea why he would want to have Johnny killed?
No. We bought a lottery ticket. Milligan tried to force Johnny to sell it to him. And when Johnny wouldn't, he drew his gun. Johnny killed him in self-defense. And that's the truth, Mr. Earp.
I believe you.
Well, I didn't think you would.
Well, I do. Now, where do you have the ticket?
You'd have to search me to find it.
Well, I don't think I'll try that. Look, 3 men were killed because of their lottery ticket. Now, I suggest you hide yours in a safer place.
I'll hide it real good.
One more thing. Don't try to get Johnny out of here.
But I promised him.
Believe me, he wouldn't stay alive long if he was out.
You're right, Mr. Earp. He would be safer in jail.
All right. I'm going to have to leave town for a few days. Anybody ask you, you just tell them that Johnny's being held here for Milligan's shooting. That's all you know about it.
I'm a clam. Thanks, Mr. Earp. Thanks very much.
I'll be in Tucson about sundown. Think Shiloh Smith still got that list of winners in his office?
I don't think he'd keep it any other place.
I'm glad he doesn't know you. But you better leave that badge off and don't take your shotgun in.
I vote that we put the pistols on Shiloh and force him to show us the list.
No, I don't want him to see me. If he does see me, why, he'll know I'm onto his scheme and he'll try to cover up everything.
I wish you'd let me handle it my own way.
Now, let's go.
Yes? Well, what is it now?
There's a big hayseed out there. Says he has to talk to you. Says it's important.
All right, I'll see him, but don't let anyone else in. Close up and go on home.
Yes? Mr. Smith will see you now, but only for a few minutes. Come in.
Well, thank you kindly.
Well, well, my friend. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, sir, I've been cheated in that there lottery.
You've been cheated?
Yes, sir.
I'm astonished.
5 tickets I bought them. All of them sure winners, too. Now, why ain't I been paid?
Well, now, that's simple, Mr.
Jones. Ezra T. Jones.
You see, Mr. Jones, the official drawing hasn't even been held yet.
Well, that ain't the way I heard it. They tell me them winners was drawed over at Prescott several days ago.
Who told you that?
Well, the same fella that told me I had them winning tickets. He seen the list.
Well, that's news to me.
Oh, you're the high monkey monk around Tucson, ain't you? Looks to me like you ought to be able to get a hold of that list.
If there is one, I might be able to. But the winning numbers will be announced in the newspapers, and there's no reason why you can't wait.
Watch the doors. I'm going to switch in first. There it is. I'm going to copy down these names.
Take the list and let's get out of here.
No. I don't want him to know that whoever slugged him found his paper.
I told you you'd have it with him.
I don't know about you two, but me and Roscoe are hightailing it out of here before that fella wakes up.
Look at the list. The list of numbers from the big lottery. 690, 531, 875.
Mr. Annings?
Yes?
My name's Marshall Earp. You're the assistant manager of the lottery, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Come in, Marshal.
Thank you.
What can I do for you?
Well, sir, you can tell me when you're going to pay off the local winners.
Well, as soon as the money reaches the Tombstone Bank, tomorrow.
I'm glad to hear that. Can you give me a list of the names of the winners?
Well, the only list of names is of the original purchasers, and it's in Prescott. But I don't need it. You see, we don't pay by names. We have to pay by winning numbers.
How's that?
Well, lots of folks sell and resell their tickets, Marshal. It's a rule of the lottery to pay by number.
I see. Well, I'll be at the bank tomorrow when you pay off.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Mr. Earp? Mr. Earp?
Howdy, Miss Claire.
Johnny's ticket just won. I just saw the number at the newspaper.
Well, congratulations to both of you.
Oh, isn't it wonderful? Just imagine, $15,000. We can do anything we ever wanted to.
Say, have you got that ticket safely hidden?
Oh, yes, I have it in my room.
Do you know Mr. Ross at the bank?
Uh-huh.
Well, you take that ticket and put it in an envelope and go over to Mr. Ross. Tell him I said that he should put it in the vault for you.
Oh, all right. Oh, Mr. Earp, don't forget to tell Johnny the reason I can't get him out of jail.
Well, after he hears about all that money, I don't think he'll mind staying in jail a mite longer.
No.
Now, you go on and get that ticket.
Who is it?
It's a friend of yours, Mr. Smith.
Just a minute, honey.
Back up. Back up.
I don't know you. What's the meaning of this?
I want that lottery ticket that your man stole from my room.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You hand it over.
Now give me that pop gun.
You give me that ticket.
I'll give you nothing.
He took Johnny's ticket and he wouldn't give it back to me.
See how bad he's hit. Why don't you come to me first?
There wasn't time. I thought he might have hit it or passed it on to someone else.
Well, he's gonna live, I'm sorry to say. He's got hit in the shoulder.
You take him on over to the hospital. Tell Dr. Goodfellow to keep this quiet. I don't want those other thieves scared off. You come with me.
Okay, come on, Shiloh. You ain't hitting the legs.
All right, break it up. Go on, break it up. There's nothing to look at. They all got homes to go to. Go to them. Look, I want you to stay alive, so I'm going to put you in jail. Any of your friends try to bail you out, you refuse. I want you to ask for protective custody, you understand?
Yes, sir. I'll do whatever you say. Will I go to prison for shooting him?
Well, that depends on Judge Spicer. Johnny will plead self-defense in shooting Milligan. I think you'll be cleared. But your only defense is to tell everything about Shiloh Smith and about the theft of that ticket.
I intend to, Mr. Earp.
Good.
Well, I guess we're ready. You can open up the doors. But remember, Marshal, I'm not responsible for what you do.
I'll take full responsibility.
It's about time you opened this door. Morning, Gibbs.
69073, $100.
You did all right, too. I hear the winner. Look at that.
53118.
Real easy money. Thanks.
$250.
Give it to me. Thank you. Marshal Earp, I'll buy you a 5-gallon can of milk.
Thank you, Ethan.
You're welcome. Hello, Doc.
115-8. Oh. $5,000. $875-19. $10,000.
You men are under arrest. Hold it. Hey. Get over there.
I ain't dying for Shiloh Smith.
You better say that in court. Those tickets don't belong to you or Mr. Smith. They belong to 2 murdered men. Now go on.
Let's go. I wish this trial was over. I wish I'd never bought that lottery ticket.
Honey, how can you say that? $15,000? That'll take us anywhere we want to go.
Clara, you talk like all we got to do is bow to that judge and then walk out of the courtroom. And then catch a boat for Paris or someplace.
Honey, what are you worried about? Marshal Earp said that you'd get off. And Shiloh Smith can't deny that he had that ticket stolen from my room. Soon as I tell the judge just how it happened.
Yeah, honey, yeah, the court will turn us loose.
Well?
But then the 10% ring will kill us. You just don't understand, honey. You just don't understand, that's all. This lottery is big. It's bigger than you know. The whole territory's mixed up in it. Men are killed for the tickets, honey, before they're drawn. Shiloh knew my ticket would win.
But Johnny,
And if you say anything about anything in court, you and I are as good as buried.
But Johnny, I'll go to jail.
Well, look, maybe not, honey. Maybe not. He didn't die, you know.
All right, Johnny, I'll do whatever you say.
It just ain't fair. It ain't fair, that's all. The first chance we get, and it turns into worse than what we had before.
Johnny, don't. I love you no matter what happens.
Well, I love you too, Clara. More than you know. That's why you gotta do just exactly like I told you. All right?
All right, Johnny.
Johnny, time for your trial, son.
Good luck, honey.
And, Miss Claire, Marshal Earp won't see you before your trial starts, so if you please, we'll just wait out here.
Sit down, won't you? I talked to Judge Spicer. I'd like to go over your testimony.
I haven't got any testimony.
You told me yesterday that
That was yesterday.
Somebody threatened you? Look, Miss Clara, I have no proof without you. I need your testimony.
And I need to stay alive.
Well, I've thought about that.
I'll bet you have. You win your case and Johnny and I'll go free. Only where are we going to go? We couldn't stay in Tombstone, and we'd never get out alive.
I think you stand a good chance for acquittal. But my charges against Shiloh Smith are made. Johnny's being set free right now. And there is a way to leave Tombstone.
They'll be watching the stage lines and the roads. How?
I promised to get you out of town safely, Miss Clara. The rest is up to you.
What's up to me?
Whether you testify against Smith. Now, I don't want to lose this case, but I can afford to lose it. I don't think you can afford to let me. It's time you uncorked.
I want this handled in my way, understand?
If the court please, Your Honor.
Proceed.
I represent Mr. Smith, the complaining witness. He does not wish to press charges against Miss Nelson.
I see. Marshal Earp?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith has dismissed his charges. Now, are there any other witnesses to Miss Nelson's alleged assault with a deadly weapon?
No, sir.
Very well. This court rules for dismissal.
Your Honor,
Yes?
even though the complaining witness against Miss Nelson does not wish to press charges, she is my principal witness and has knowledge of facts. Therefore, I ask the court to hear her testimony.
Miss Nelson, you will take the stand, please. Order. Continue, please.
When I asked him to give me back Johnny's ticket, he wouldn't do it. I saw the man that hit me hand it to Mr. Smith, so I knew he had it. But then he started to rush me, and I was afraid if he got the gun, he'd kill me. So I shot him first.
I see. What gave you this great fear of Mr. Smith?
A man named Milligan who used to work for Mr. Smith at Tucson. He tried to rob Johnny of the same ticket, and that's when Johnny shot him in self-defense.
Well, it would appear that Mr. Smith is guilty of suborning 2 felonies at least. The court rules that Mr. Smith be held without bond.
You can't hang anything on me.
That will do, sir. Marshal?
Sit down.
Miss Nelson, the court must hold you as a material witness against Smith.
You mean I don't have to go to prison?
Well, a citizen who tells the truth when she doesn't have to deserves the court's consideration. This court is adjourned.
Thank you, Miss Clara, for all your help, and for having faith that I'd think of a way of getting you out of town safely. Shiloh Smith would have never been convicted otherwise.
She was a lot smarter than me, Marshal. I was dead sure they'd kill us.
Well, they didn't. We'll be free now. Thanks, Marshal. I guess sometimes people just have to trust each other.
Sometimes they do.
Come on. What's your head?
Now, don't make a sound until you get outside of town. The hearse won't talk if you don't.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Marshal.
Walk 'em slow until you're way outside town.
Looky who's coming to town. That there's a listener.
The listener?
Yeah, he just got back from leading the soldiers. Caught them renegades, Francisco and them.
Why do they call him the listener?
You see that neck string around his neck? Did you ever see a set of beads that look like that in your life?
Can't say. What are they?
Ears.
Ears?
Why, sure, Indian ears. One for every redskin he ever killed. Why, the Apaches say that Tom Barrows has so many ears that he can hear almost everything. course, now, that don't mean that he can't lose his someday.
By 1880, throughout most of the West, the Indian was a defeated man. But in Arizona Territory, the toughest and the deadliest of all, the Apaches were far from conquered. Some lived on the reservation in what was at best an uneasy truce. Others in renegade bands roamed the desert around Tombstone and brought trouble for ranchers and townspeople, and sometimes for Wyatt Earp.
Oh, hello, Marshal Earp.
I figured you'd be here after you got finished with Francisco's bunch.
Oh, you heard?
Papers carried the story.
Spell my name right? That was some job.
Yeah, good to be back, eh, Tom?
What do you think? 2 months out. I need a drink, and I'm a little itchy, too.
Well, now, you come to the right place, listener. We got exactly what you need.
I'm only stopping for one drink. You ain't got nothing in this town that I ain't got more of and better up to my place in the hills.
Oh, you mean that pretty little Indian gal? Say, I hear she's some pumpkin, all right.
Mister, you're talking about my wife.
Now, I didn't mean nothing by that, Tom. Now, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Of course you didn't, friend. Now, where's that firewater, huh? Come along, Marshal, I'll buy you a drink.
No, thanks, Tom. Howdy, John.
Wyatt?
You looking for a story for your paper?
Oh, I don't have to interview Barrows to write his story, Wyatt. I've lived it a few times myself. Barrows and I once rode together after Geronimo.
You been hearing Apache talk?
Wyatt, they never liked him very much. Even when he married that Indian girl and half became a member of the tribe. After that, they took his scouting for the cavalry as, kind of personal.
But Apaches scout for the cavalry against renegades.
These renegades were tired, Wyatt. They were all in, ready to give up. He didn't have to kill Francisco. The other scouts, even the peaceful tribesmen, they're going to hate him for that.
What'll they do?
Oh, I don't rightly know. Excepting I wouldn't give Barrows more than a 50-50 chance of reaching that lonely place of his in the hills tonight.
Well, but don't believe all you read in the newspapers. Wasn't so much. Like most of them, Francisco wasn't so brave. You corner an Apache, he doesn't believe in fighting too much. He'll give up quick. Hoping to save his own neck and then maybe later stab you in the back with a knife and make his getaway. Not with me.
No, sirree. Not with you. This here Apache didn't get away with nothing like that.
What'd you do, listener? Well, when he came out of the brush with his hands clawing and scratching at the sky, I just gave him a bellyache. 30-30 bellyache. Wait a minute. I figure he had it coming. All those women and kids that he slaughtered. Saved you taxpayers' money, too. Wow. Oh, you change your mind about that drink, Marshal?
No, thank you. I just thought we might talk a little bit.
Sure.
I'd like to try and change your mind about riding out to your ranch tonight. If I were you, I'd ride along San Simon stage in the morning.
No, thanks, Marshal. I want to see my wife tonight.
But right now, when they're riled up about Francisco, it seems that...
What about back at my ranch? Just me and the missus and a couple of hired hands. Apache hands. The mountains behind us crawling with Apaches.
I imagine you can protect your ranch pretty well, Mr. Barrows. And they know that. Probably only a few of them you have to fear. Francisco's friends.
Marshal, I don't fear none of them. And I don't need no nurse.
Obviously, you can take care of yourself, Mr. Barrows. You don't need me. But I'm paid to prevent killing, and the kind of killing that I want to prevent most is between whites and Indians. Either way.
Pretty big job for one man.
You know, I've never seen your ranch, and I've never met your wife. I'd like to do both, if you'll let me.
Suit yourself.
What is it?
Apaches. Look, you can see their sign on the slope.
Yeah, I can see it now. I never would have noticed it, though.
The air's full of Apaches.
You don't like him at all, do you?
Why should I?
Well, I just thought, spending so much time with him,
Because I married one? I'll tell you about that.
You don't have to. I didn't ask you.
I'll tell you anyway. I'm not ashamed. When I took her, there wasn't a white woman within 1,000 miles. What lily-handed schoolgirl would agree to live the way I live out here?
As long as you're both happy.
Happy. That's something I don't know too much about. But she's plenty woman. She cooks good and she sews good. She takes good care of my place when I'm gone. She's content, and so am I.
Why, they're going away.
They came back down the draw. That means they've been here and done what they wanted to do. Everything. House, barns, everything. Sal! Sal!
Here, Tom.
Oh. Sal. I called her Sally after my ma. Francisco's clan. That won't mean anything to her, nor to me either.
Well, at least it'll mark the grave until you can get a permanent one.
Apaches don't mark their graves, they hide them. We'll run the horses over it.
Suit yourself.
Marshal, what are you going to do about this?
Well, it wouldn't do us much good to try and pick up the trail now.
You couldn't catch them in 6 months of tracking. They're probably over the border already, headed for the Sierra Madre.
Well, I'll notify the cavalry at Fort Buchanan.
That'll do even less good.
And I'll ask questions, try and find out what I can. Exactly who did it.
No matter who did it, they were Apaches. That's enough.
Not for the law, Tom. We've got to know exactly who. Now, look, I know how you feel, but you leave this to the cavalry. Or to me.
Sure, Marshal. You ask your questions.
Tom, I'm sorry.
Sorry, why? I can build me another ranch.
I meant about Sal.
I can get me a new squaw, too, just as good.
To serve you and be content, like an animal?
Sure. Like an animal, why not?
You didn't love her at all?
Love. An Apache?
Where you going?
Right up to the reservation, ask questions.
That's a fool's errand, White. They won't know anything.
Well, I have to try.
For Tom Barrows?
No. For me.
I sent for Taze. Asked him to come over here and meet you.
Taze. He's the oldest son of Cochise, isn't he?
One of the most influential of the chiefs since the old man died. And one of the few who works for peace. But this is a special case.
Barrows?
Yes, Barrows. They've got no love for him.
Even though he married an Apache, wouldn't that make him one of the tribe?
Ordinarily it would. Did with Tom Jeffords, but not Barrows.
How'd he treat the girl?
Like a servant? No, more like a slave, I guess, when anyone was around to see. You know, I honestly don't know why she stayed with him. That must be Taze. Come in, Taze. Buenos dias. This is Marshal Wyatt Earp from Tombstone.
Taze, I'm very happy to know you. I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
You are the law here, Marshal?
Yes, I'm the United States Deputy Marshal.
Then it is I who must ask you questions.
For instance?
Why does your law allow one of your men to come into our reservation, shoot my people in the back?
What's this? Someone on the reservation shot?
Not one, 5. Since the coming of the last sun, I have traveled much this day to see the bodies. 3 men, a woman, a child, all unarmed, all shot from ambush by the same strong white man's rifle.
Who could have done such a thing?
We know who did it. We know who owns such a rifle.
Oh, now, just because...
And who thinks he has even more reason for hating us.
You mean for killing his wife?
For the killing of his wife.
Tom Barrows? But these people are not the renegades who killed the girl.
This matters little to him.
He's got his own private war.
Why should Barrows do such a thing? Like we were saying, he didn't seem to care too much about the girl.
Who knows how it is between a man and his woman when they're alone? Besides, he wishes us to know who has done this thing. He has left his mark each time.
His mark?
The ears.
Takes pride in his name. The listener.
Well, if what you say is true, I won't stop here. There'll be more than 5.
That is why I ask you. What is it that your law will do now?
Well, I'll try and stop him. Arrest him if I can, but I'll need help.
My men are outside.
Let's go then before he kills any more.
The year.
Tell every man in your clan, find Barrows. They will find him. This man who makes war on women carrying water.
They must not kill him. They must bring him to me, to white man's law. That's very important.
You wish to save the life of this killer?
The law says there must be a trial.
Did she have a trial?
Taze, rules must be followed, as in your ancient ceremonies.
I cannot promise. These scouts are Apache warriors. Some are kin, other friend to the dead.
Tell them anyway. You and I will try and find them first. Take them ourselves.
Busquen este hombre. Tomen el cuerpo.
Taze.
Wish I knew what was going on up there.
Taze isn't talking, but I think we're close.
They got Barrows on the run, no doubt about that. He's probably trying to lose himself in these hills. That's a laugh.
Why?
Well, he might lose himself, but he'll never lose these Apaches. They know every blade of grass.
These seers he didn't get.
He must be close. Didn't have time.
He's very close.
I'm all right. It's just a nick. Afraid it won't be much help to you now.
I got plenty of help. Sure you're gonna be all right?
Yeah. Go on.
Tell him to stop firing.
What is your plan?
You found him. Now he's mine.
You think you take him alone?
I'm gonna try. No use any more of your people dying.
And you? He will not mind killing you.
Just tell me exactly where he is up there.
Between those two rocks, next to Boulder. Good place for him. Bad for you.
Barrows! Tom Barrows! Barrows, it's Wyatt Earp. Tom, you hear me?
I hear you, Marshal. You should have stayed in Tombstone.
You're surrounded. Give yourself up.
And rot in your filthy jail? No thanks.
Tom, you haven't got a chance.
There's as good a way as any to end it. And as good a place, too. I can take a few more of those devils with me. So tell them to come on. Say them all.
No, Tom. I'm the one that's coming. I'm arresting you for murder. Now lay your gun down.
I'll pick you off before you come 10 yards.
I'm coming, Tom.
All right, Herb, come on. All right, Herb. You want to be a fool? Come on. I'd just soon kill you as anybody. Come on.
Alto!
You made it.
I'm sorry it had to be this way, Tom.
Better this way than the rope.
You knew it had to be one or the other, yet you did it. Why?
Sal.
But she said you didn't care for her. That you could find another squaw just as good.
I lied to you, Marshal. I loved her. I did. Go ahead and say it.
Say what?
What you're thinking.
I'm only thinking I hope you said that to her sometimes.
Tombstone was a magnet to men and women from all over the world. It had a large foreign population, a large segment of which was Chinese. Several hundred newly arrived from China did not speak English and found their frontier life doubly hard. It was inevitable that this might mean trouble for Wyatt Earp.
They beat me till I thought they'd never stop. Now, I didn't have no call to do that, Marshal. I didn't put up no resistance.
Did you get a look?
I didn't see nothing. I can't tell you was they big or little or nothing.
Did you hear anything?
Not a sound. They was like ghosts.
I don't see nothing back here, Wyatt.
Bring that lantern over here. What do you make of that?
It's a funny kind of ring. Hey, that's Chinese writing on there, ain't it?
Sure is. Now we got something to go on.
You think there's Chinese?
Well, that doesn't seem likely. Never have any trouble with them, usually.
Yeah?
I'm gonna find out where that ring came from.
How you gonna do that?
There's one person in this town that knows everything there is to know about every Chinese living here.
China Mary?
That's right.
Yeah. Not only knows them, but runs them like a queen. Well, will she tell you anything?
Why not?
Well, Wyatt, you know she's got her fingers in a lot of things that ain't exactly legal.
All the more reason why she doesn't want any trouble with the law.
No white men allowed.
Wait. I want to see China Mary.
No Mary.
I'm Marshal Earp. You go tell her I want to see her.
You wait. Marshal Earp, is there trouble?
You're one of Mary's policemen, aren't you?
That's right. I take care of things, I help you.
You usually do, and I appreciate that. So don't stop now.
Something you want?
I want to see Mary.
Mary very busy. Can't I do?
No. Now you go tell her.
You come. Just friendly game. All fine.
Fantan?
Like Fantan. Oh, yes. This way.
Yep, line. Come in, Marshal. You've never been here before, have you, Marshal? Usually you send for me.
You have quite a place here.
Oh, it's not San Francisco or Hong Kong. You would take tea?
No, thank you. This isn't a social visit.
Moi Chalo.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Perhaps. It is Chinese.
But this ring.
This ring is connected with the trouble that brings you here?
Yes. I found it next to a man who had been robbed and brutally beaten. We've had quite a bit of that lately. The attacks are so much alike. Must be by the same men.
And you think they are Chinese?
I don't know who they are.
Well, Chinese jewelry is widely sold.
I thought this might be a special ring with a character on it. Insignia or something.
The character means love. It is a ring a man might give a woman, or a woman a man.
Well, that doesn't tell me much. But I have a hunch they were Chinese.
Why?
Because of your eyes? You won't look at me. Mary, I found out a long time ago that the Chinese here live in a world apart. A lot goes on here that the law and I we don't approve of. But I couldn't begin to stop it or to change it. It's live and let live.
That's the way it has always been.
I guess that's the way it will be. As long as you keep it here within the walls. If it spills out into the street.
It has always been enough that you tell me, has it not?
This time, that will not be enough. You must turn them over to me. They have broken the law and they must be punished.
They will be, in my way.
I cannot agree to that.
Then find them yourself. I will need the ring.
Now I know why they call you a queen.
Hey there, stop that. What are you doing? Here, you stop that. Help, help. Oh, no, you don't. I got you by the hair, you devil. Help, help.
This man's dead. Just when I thought it was all over.
But now we know they're Chinese that are doing it.
You saw one of them?
Sure. Had hold of his cue.
Could you identify him?
Well, now, I might could, Marshal, but I don't know.
You'd better know. They're all of them no good for nothing but to take a man's job away from him. I say we ought to string them all up.
Yeah.
Second, any man touches a Chinese, he goes to jail. Now, you leave this to the law.
You men pick him up and take him over to the coroner's office.
Sit down, Mr. Earp. I know why you're here.
You heard already, I should have known you would. Well, for the first time, it wasn't enough just to tell Mary about it.
No one is perfect.
This time it's serious. For one thing, it's murder. For another, the townspeople know that the attackers were Chinese. You know what that could mean.
You think that Mary can no longer control her people. But I'm sure this was not done by those who did the others.
Why?
I'm sure that's all.
Well, I'm not. Maybe there's someone who defies your authority. And I want to know who it is. A Tong, maybe? One of the 6 companies? Or just a group of young rebels? You won't tell me who they are?
I do not know. But when I find out, I will handle it myself.
Already there is talk of burning your people out. A catastrophe. Not only for your people, but for Tombstone.
I'm still able to handle it myself. You will leave it to me.
No, I can't. If you won't tell me, I'll find out another way.
How?
I think I know a way.
I didn't get them, White. It's like hunting a black cat in a barrel. They just melted away. I never seen them.
Yeah, we got one of them anyway.
Good. Come on.
You tricked me. You're policeman.
Let's go. Is he the one, Mr. Ferguson?
I don't know.
All right.
I'm sorry, but I can't say it was when I ain't sure.
Well, I'd rather have you be that way than like Tucker, ready to string up anybody just because their eyes are a little different. Thank you anyway.
Marshal, let me go. You can't hold me.
You attacked me and tried to rob me.
Marshal, you are mistaken. I was walking along a dark street, and I bumped into somebody. And I thought I was being attacked, so I fought back. That is all.
And was that all the other night, when the man died?
You cannot connect me with those robberies, nor did I take money from you. I think you have no evidence.
Don't be too cocky. And don't underestimate the law. You're in trouble, my friend. I just don't forget murder. Now, you take some advice. You talk. Maybe you'll save yourself from the worst of it.
Hanging. They'll probably do that sooner or later, Marshal. Trial or no trial, murder or no murder. I understood that a long time ago.
You want to be a martyr, huh? I guess that's partly due to your age. A lot of wet-nosed boys have ideas like that. You want to say something?
No. Nothing.
Were they all boys like you? Did you work for yourselves or did you work for somebody else? And why'd you do it? Because of the money that you got for robbing or the fun that you got from beating? Did you do it for hate or for greed?
What do you think, Marshal?
I think that money only appeals to grown men. But revenge? That's for wet-nosed boys.
Why, you...
Let me see that ring. Open your hand. Where'd you get that? Shotgun? Take a look at this. Who gave it to you?
Must have been China Mary, White. Maybe she give it back to him. Unless, of course, there's more than one.
Oh, I doubt it. This is handmade. We'll find out soon enough anyway. Open the door.
Where are you going to take me?
China Mary's.
No, Marshal. No. Don't take me there.
Why? You think you're going to be sent back to China? Don't worry. You won't get off that easy this time.
Marshal.
I'm sorry to disturb you again, but you know this boy?
Do you know him, Marshal?
I don't know his name, but I know his profession. He's a footpad, thief, and murderer.
His name is Lee Kung, and he is very young.
He's not so young that he doesn't know it's wrong to attack another man, to rob, beat, and kill him.
Are you sure this boy has done these things?
Yes, I am.
How can you be sure?
Because I set a trap for him, and he fell into it. He made the mistake of attacking me.
You are very ingenious, very brave.
And very successful. I caught this one, but the other two got away. I asked him who they were, but he won't tell me.
What would happen to them?
They would stand trial for murder?
You can hardly expect him to tell you.
He'll talk if you tell him to.
I haven't that power.
I thought you were the boss around here.
Not with him or his friends. He does not approve of me.
Why should I? Are you something to be proud of?
Wait a minute.
Do you know what she is or what she does? Do you know where the money comes from to buy these rich things? You are a disgrace to our people.
Psycho.
Don't call me that. I hate you. I want nothing to do with you. I will not live as you have.
I didn't want it that way. But do you know what you are doing? You bring yourself to ruin.
It is my life, and I will live it as I want.
No, it is the lives of the others you command also. And more than that, the lives of all us Chinese, perhaps. Marshal Earp will tell you of the talk. The talk of burning us out.
They talk big, but they're not that hard or strong.
Oh, but you are hard and strong, huh? You're gonna wipe us all out here in Tombstone.
If I could, I would. For there are none of you that I love.
Isn't there anyone you love?
Take me back to your jail, Marshal.
Come on.
You have no case against him, have you?
I'll build one.
I doubt it. He will never talk.
At least with him in jail, the attacks may stop, if you're right about his being the ringleader.
Well, if it's learned that he is in jail, the talk will start. Then you know what that might mean.
I know. And I'll handle that.
Can you, Marshal? I've seen it in the gold fields in California. The mobs, the fires, the hangings.
Maybe I should leave you here.
Gatlon, Laguila.
I will repay you for this someday, Marshal.
What he needs is to be turned over somebody's knee and spanked.
Perhaps. Chinese parents are often too indulgent of their children. But that would have been a long time ago for this one.
I've never known you to be soft before. You gave him back his ring. Why?
He is so young.
Are you going to be soft now? Or will you send him back to China?
I will decide.
You said that ring meant love. Could it be given by a mother to her son?
It could.
Did you know his mother?
Yes. She had great hope for him. She worked very hard to give him the things she never had. Everything he wished.
Perhaps it was too much.
No, Marshal. Not enough. She could not give him his honor.
Well, I'll say goodbye.
Do not hate me. I could not help it. But I promise you, there will be no more trouble. On my honor.
That's good enough for me.
Oh, howdy.
Howdy.
Say, you're one of China Mary's policemen, ain't you? Well, I guess everything worked out all right. We ain't had no trouble in the last couple of weeks. Of course, we still got an unsolved murder on our books. But that ain't the first here in Tombstone. What can I do for you?
Mr. Marshal Earp, please.
Well, he ain't here right now. Any messages?
You tell him Mary sent me. He look out.
Look out for what?
Lee Kuhn, get loose. Come to find Marshal. Kill him.
Kill him?
You tell him, huh?
That's for sure.
Do you know who shot you? You were going to kill me? Why? Why did you want to kill me?
You were only one who knew about China. Mary.
That she was your mother? Mary, I don't suppose it's any use for me to ask who killed Lee Kung.
Is it not better for one foolish boy to die than for all my people to pay for him?
Maybe it was justifiable homicide. I'll probably never find out anyway. I hope I don't.
The body will be brought here, please.
Yes. This was the only thing of value. Would you see that his mother gets it?
Yes. Thank you.
Howdy, Ayers.
Marshal, let's get off the trail.
Well, it looks like my undercover work has finally paid off. I found out where old man Clanton hides the silver he steals from Wells Fargo. He has a cache on the desert somewhere near Cactus Well.
Well, there's a lot of desert around there, Mr. Ayers.
I know. But Pony Deal and some of the boys are going to bring a silver shipment to my place tonight. I'm supposed to fence it for the old man. They'll get their load from somewhere near Cactus Well.
Good work. We'll try and jump him. I want to thank you.
Don't you thank me, Mr. Earp. After all, you saved my life, and old man Clanton had me nailed as a tip-off man. I won't forget that. I just hope you find their hiding place.
You go ahead. I'll wait until after you're gone.
Good luck, sir.
Why do you reckon Wyatt wanted us to meet him here, Doc?
Well, something he couldn't talk about at the jail. Sheriff Johnny Behan's been spying for old man Clanton, as usual.
Johnny Behan. You know, Doc, that feller puzzles me. He'd make close to $30,000 a year just to collecting fees and taxes. Now, you tell me why he has to be a crook.
Well, it's born in a man. Reminds me of a house gambler who earns an honest 10%, and he still has to cheat. Larceny is excitement to some men, Gibbs. Stimulates them.
Yeah, but they usually get caught. Don't they ever figure that?
It's part of the excitement and drama they feed on. But we're all eventually exposed.
Exposed? What do you mean by that?
By the recording angel, my dear Gibbs. I toast him quite often. Boy, can you imagine the black pages that he's filled in under my name?
Come on over here. This is Cactus Well, here.
I've camped there.
Now, Pony Deal and some of the Clanton boys are making a silver delivery to Ayers after dark. Somewhere in this area, the whole cache of stolen silver.
It's tough hunting in the desert, Wyatt.
I know. Now, I aim to jump Pony Deal and the boys right here at Cactus Well. That is, if they stop to water their horses. Maybe one of them will talk.
How are we going to get out of town without being asking any questions?
Well, I've taken our rifles and trail gear out of the jail. We'll load up in the alley and hope that Bean doesn't get onto us.
What if he does and tips off the Clantons?
I don't think he'll have time. Anyway, I doubt that he'd have the gall to interfere openly.
I sure hope he does. Ain't no law says I can't kill a sheriff, but accidentally kill a sheriff, you know, if he mixes in a gunfight without a law.
Mr. Gibbs, I don't want being killed. A term in prison for him is enough to ask.
Yes, sir.
Deacon Earp wants the recording angel to take care of Johnny.
And that goes for you, too, Doc. Come on.
Well, now, where are they going?
Looks to me like they've packed for a long trail, Johnny.
Wyatt should have told me. If he's heading for the desert, he'll need help.
What's going on in the desert tonight?
Go round up a posse. I'm the sheriff, and it's my job to help Wyatt.
Yes, sir.
Come on, hustle it up. That moon's getting too bright to fool around here.
Well, it's a long pull to Charleston. We better wet down our horses.
He's right, Pony. We better get some water. I guess he is. All right. We'll take 5 minutes. No time. Let's get out of here. Halt! Halt!
We'll make sure of those two. We'll trail the others later.
Get off that wagon, drop that gun.
Let's get him up to the wagon. Where's old man Clanton hide the rest of this stuff?
They're too scared to talk, Wyatt. Let's give them the Apache treatment.
Too cruel.
No. Simply stake them out when the sun comes out.
I favor the Sioux treatment. Scalp them, a square inch at a time.
Can't do that either. You men can save yourself a lot of time in prison if you'll cooperate with the law.
How much time?
4 years out of a 5-year sentence, maybe.
4 years, sir. Well, Here comes old man Clanton. He'll take it out of you. Get out.
It's Johnny B. Hold your fire. Doc, you take the silver on into Wells Fargo. I'm going to have to trust being with these prisoners. Mr. Gibbs and I are going to go after Pony Deal and the other man who got away.
What was that about trusting me with the prisoners?
Just what I said, Johnny. Don't let them get away.
I resent this, Wyatt. I brought the posse down here to help you.
Oh, you move me to tears, Johnny.
He gives me anguish in my abdomen.
Now, you men listen to me. I don't trust Bean, and I don't trust Cavanaugh, his office boy. If anything happens to Dr. Holliday or this silver, each of you's going to have to answer to me.
This is plain slander.
I repeat myself, Johnny, and add that the same goes double for you. Doc?
Yeah. You got to lock us up, Sheriff.
Until Holliday turns in the silver and goes to bed, then you can both escape.
Well, how do we do that? You trick Deputy Cavanaugh here, lock him in your cell, and take off. Make it look good. Give him about a half-hour head start, then yell for help. You get out to old man Clanton's fast. Tell him that Earp is poking around Cactus Well, looking for his main silver hideout. Don't worry, we'll have the boys out there on time. We'll clean it out, and Earp will never find it.
Let's go, boys.
What? Roscoe wants to know, are we going to have to go back out there to that desert?
You tell Roscoe, yes, we're going to have to go back out to the desert. Right now, I want to talk to our prisoners.
What? Johnny let the prisoners escape as soon as I went to sleep.
Well, if that don't beat all. You sure depend on that being to cross you up.
Yeah, you sure can. You go tell that sheriff I want to see him, and I want to see him right now. If he gives you any lip, you stick that cannon in his belly.
I'll fetch him for you, Wyatt. It'll be a
No,
pleasure.
I want him alive. Go on, Mr. Gibbs. You cool off, Doc. So they tricked Cavanaugh, locked him in their cell, and just rode right out of town, huh?
Exactly.
You're a liar.
I've taken all I'm gonna take from you. We'll settle this with guns.
Wonderful.
He ain't no match for you, White. That's a sure enough trick.
Hold on. I got an idea. Why don't both you gentlemen write out your resignations and turn in your stars? Then neither one of you can be accused of shooting a fellow officer.
That suits me fine. Cavanaugh, give me a pen and paper.
I kind of admire your nerve, Johnny. Shotgun, give me some paper.
Cavanaugh, you hold my letter of resignation and star. And you be a witness that this was a fair fight.
Here's mine. Let's get it over with. It's close enough for you, Johnny?
No, further back. I'm as good a shot as you are.
All right. You don't have a butt line, so I won't use mine. I'll use the short Colt. Go ahead, Johnny. I'll let you go for your gun first.
The devil's getting anxious for being Wyatt.
He's too scared to draw.
Why didn't you shoot?
Too easy, Johnny.
Why, you...
Keep out of my way, Johnny. Next time I may have to hurt you.
Maybe you should have shot him.
No, the beating was better. It was his own doing.
You mean his undoing?
Precisely. The people would have said Bean didn't have a chance in a gunfight against you. But they'll remember it, and he'll never forget it. He was spared your bullet, and he lost the fight. There was style to you, Deacon, the way you handled him.
Oh, and he was madder than an old wet hen. Why, if he couldn't have hit you, he'd have plumb exploded.
Let's get started for the desert.
Are we bringing in more prisoners for being to turn loose?
There are 4 men that we have to catch, and Bean won't turn them loose. I promise you that. Wait a minute.
Congratulations, Marshal. That silver you recovered will weigh out close to $10,000.
Oh, thank you. I'm going after Pony Deal and that other Clanton man. Hope to find that whole cache.
Say.
I'd like you to bring a posse out to Cactus Well. You know where it is?
Yes.
Time yourself so you get there just about sundown.
Sundown, right.
Oh, kind of sneak out of town to the trail. Bean will be watching you, and I don't want him to see you.
I understand.
Good. We'll circle the town before we head south.
Well, you used your head for once, being the way you turned my boys loose.
I can't do it again, so don't expect it.
Just give me a little warning. I got bail money.
I'll give you a warning right now. You better have $50,000 in cash and camp right here.
How's that?
Earp left town. Wells Fargo's getting up a posse. And if they bring in any more of your boys, you'll have to move fast. Bail them out and tell them to get lost.
Jump bail and cost me my money? Oh, no.
Money? You want Earp to come up with confessions?
No. No, I see the point. I sure enough don't want that. But ain't nothing to worry about, though. My boys will be gone long before Earp gets anywhere close.
I hope you're right. Because if you are, I'll make a fool out of Earp.
Reckon they got that silver up one of them draws, Wyatt?
Well, Pony Dill and his men were at the well when we jumped him. I figure it's a one-drink haul from the well to where the silver is.
How far is a one-drink haul on water?
On the desert at night? Oh, about 10 miles. It's about 8 miles back to the well. You good for another 2 miles?
I hope I can borrow a drink from Thacker for the return trip. Tell me, Wyatt, how much interest does Wells Fargo charge on a pint?
Come on. Up that draw somewhere. Mr. Gibbs, you and Doc circle. I'll go in from here.
You're surrounded!
Guido! Let's kill him.
No, sir. Wyatt won't think we should have killed any of them.
If Bean doesn't turn him loose, Clanton will get him off.
Why'd you throw that rock? You didn't have to kill him?
Well, I give him a chance to surrender, Wyatt.
They were shooting at us, Wyatt.
Yeah.
This was a plain massacre. We was all asleep.
You tell that in court, Pony.
You'll never get us to no court.
Let's move him out. We gotta meet Thacker at Cactus Well.
Come along, boys.
Glad to see you, Mr. Thacker.
Did you find the silver cache?
Mr. Gibbs will lead you to it.
Good. What about the prisoners?
Well, Doc Holliday and I'll handle them.
Well, this is Clanton country, Wyatt. Shouldn't you wait for us to come back before you take them in?
It won't matter. Clanton will spring him in Tombstone.
We're not going to take him to Tombstone.
When'll I be seeing you, Wyatt?
Tomorrow sometime. Look down Allen Street.
All right, let him in.
Howdy, Captain Rowland.
Good evening, Marshal. Doc. Glad to see you again.
Oh, good to see you, Captain. Say, is that private jail of yours still in good shape?
I may be retired, sir, but I always keep my brig tidy and clean.
No offense, Captain.
Even though you did tell me not to use it anymore.
Well, Captain, as a U.S. Marshal and well, with federal prisoners, I'd kind of like to borrow that jail of yours for one night.
I guess I can make an exception in your case. Marshal, you and Doc are real welcome. Mrs. Rowland's been finding things a little dull at the ranch lately.
Take him on in, Doc. I can't throw Sheriff Bean into jail for malfeasance as you did, sir. Even if I had proof, Tombstone jury probably wouldn't convict. Old man Clanton has too much influence.
Could be. Could be. Why not pick a fight with Bean and kill him?
Here, here.
Well, I already tried that, Captain.
He couldn't bring himself to kill the dear man.
Well, anyway, the politicians had just put in a new sheriff. Just as bad, maybe worse.
Could it be at all possible that you, temporarily, use my, what you refer to, private navy?
Well, that'd be quite possible, sir, providing I could swear them all in as special deputies.
Well, I'd have to think about that.
You heard anything about her? He's got Pony Deal and Dongo and Sholto.
No. But he wouldn't take prisoners to Bisbee or Tucson.
Well, where is he then? He can't just disappear. I ain't happy about this, Bean. I ain't happy at all. That posse killed more of my boys. They got my silver. And on top of that, they're accusing me of stealing it.
Well, didn't you?
Well, of course I did. Ain't nobody else in this territory could pile up that much silver. The point is, I got to know what them boys are going to say.
Have you got bail money?
Sure, I got bail money. But supposing Earp insists on holding them incommunicado.
Judge Spicer, Earp's friend, won't be back until tomorrow.
He can turn down bail himself. He don't need Spicer for that.
You're right. He might refuse your money.
Bail money? That Johnny Law, he's gone too far.
I'll tell you
Hush
what.
up. I'm studying this. Well, he's only got 2 men he can count on. And that ain't enough. I'll show him how to bail somebody out of jail.
You better bring at least 30 guns.
I can do my own thinking, Sonny. You just be where I can get my hands on you.
You don't need me in this.
Oh, you running out of town?
Not me. I wouldn't miss your showdown with Earp. I like you both too much. After you, Mr. Clanton.
Why, it's a dirty Yankee trick. That low-down Roland helping him out again me.
Roland was never a friend of yours.
Nobody asked you if he was or he wasn't. Now you figure a way to get them boys out of jail.
It's too late. Earp outsmarted us. There's nothing anyone can do now.
How long do you want us to stay in town, Marshal?
Till Judge Spicer gets back and he can arraign these hoodlums.
Fair enough. Our boys have earned a holiday. We'll give it to them.
I'll meet you at the jail.
What are you loafing around for, Johnny? Go on over to the jail and sweep out 3 cells. Well, don't break the broom. We can't afford a new one until next month.
You done anything at all about that editor, John Clum?
Well, no. He's a newspaper man. He thinks that
I don't care what he thinks. Now, he can be put out of business. You're the sheriff. It's your job.
The newspaper doesn't have much circulation.
I read it, and my boys read it. Supposing some of the wrong people in Washington get hold of a copy. Now, the nugget is on our side. Anyway, one newspaper's enough for a town. You run that fella out of Tombstone.
That's easier said than done, Mr. Clanton.
What I say, you do.
Known an editor of one of its newspapers, paid in many ways for his support of Marshal Wyatt Earp and his courageous stand against Sheriff Behan and the outlaw faction. Present-day newspapermen have little understanding of what it meant to run an honest newspaper in Tombstone, Arizona in 1881. Powerful politicians were determined to ruin Clum, force him to sell his paper, or if these tactics failed, kill him.
Come on, let's go. You get it. No. Let's get the whole thing. Come on, let's go. Let's get it on. Get him out of here.
No, you just leave them be, son. Wait a minute, Dameron. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna pick up every one of my papers.
Get out there!
Now you pick them up!
No, I'll sue you for this.
Hold it, John. What's your temper? Are you going back to your office?
If that Dameron had any brains, I'd kick him out.
John, get off the street. All right, folks, go on home. Go on, break it up.
Your boys saved most of the papers. How'd this start?
I'll tell you how it started. That Johnny Behan and his Tucson gang are out to bust me. Look, I've been informed that I don't get to print any more of the county legal notices. All that work's going to go to the Nugget from now on.
That's rough. What will it cost you?
About $100 a month, at least.
That won't break you, will it?
No. No, it won't break me, not by itself. Look at here. They've started to work on my advertising. Cancellations from advertisers. 5 of them. 5 of them just since yesterday. Now, Dameron couldn't do that all by himself, Wyatt. Johnny Behan has got his orders.
All right. What can I do?
Well, they'll probably try and smash us up again. Break up the press, burn down the tent.
I'll put an extra deputy on guard here.
Thank you, Wyatt. Thank you. But this advertising boycott's the rough one. They keep that up long enough, that'd break me.
It won't. I'll talk to Miss Nellie and the Citizen Safety Committee, have them talk to the advertisers. The main trouble, John, is that you've got almost as bad a temper as I have.
Well, Wyatt, I've wanted to clobber that Dameron for months.
He's just a hired hand. Don't waste your strength. You clobber him in print.
No, I'm going to clobber Johnny Behan in print, and right now.
No, sir.
And why not?
Because you know that Behan's just itching to sue you for libel.
libel. Let him sue me.
Now, take it easy, John. You can't afford to pay a libel judgment along with everything else, right?
Of course, you're right.
I'll talk to Miss Nellie. In the meantime, you just ignore what happened out there in the street.
All right, Wyatt.
I promise you. As soon as we get some proof on being, I'll be the first one to back you up.
Well, thank you, Wyatt. I'm sorry. I guess I blew up out there pretty good, didn't I?
Who hasn't? You know, a newspaper can't afford to lose its temper.
This a personal favor, Sheriff? Or is there any money in it?
Money? $50 apiece if you do the job. $20 on account right now.
That's good pay. You just named the job.
I want you to break into Clum's office. I want you to be very careful.
Ruby, Soren? You think you could crack a skull with one of those?
Deadly weapons, Mr. Clum.
Ah, they're lovely, boss. Now, who do we clobber?
Well, I've got a hunch that Mr. Bean is going to try and wreck our press one of these nights. Now, the advertisers called off their boycott this afternoon. So that doesn't leave the gentleman much else to do.
Why, the nasty worm.
Let him just try it.
Now, Marshal Earp has assigned us special deputies. We got one patrolling out back, and there's another out front.
That's good. And the only other way a man could get in is through that old deserted mine shaft under the floor. And we got that crossbarred.
Well, you take the crossbar off of it.
But, boss, they might have guns.
Now, they're not going to be expecting anybody to be on guard in here. Our big advantage is going to be surprise. Besides, if they do show up, wouldn't you like a crack at them? Well, go on, unbar it.
All clear, Tom. Hand the hammers up.
Where do we start?
Right there. That's the one the man wants busted.
That won't take long.
Where's Mr. Clum?
Down there, fighting that other.
You watch him. Keep those two from hitting him anymore.
Mr. Clum, hold it.
Look at you. Mayor Clum of Tombstone. Why didn't you call the deputy?
There wasn't time.
Axe handles. Could have killed two men.
Sorry I didn't.
When's your wife coming home?
She's catching the stage from the railroad at Benson tomorrow.
No. You're going to go to Benson the stage and pick her up and bring her back yourself. You take Rappy along just in case.
Me? Why me?
Now, you look, Wyatt. I happen to be...
You happen to be a hot-tempered man with a lot of provocation to go around bashing skulls in. You go pick up your wife. She can calm you down on the way home.
You giving me orders, Wyatt?
No, just good advice. Shotgun and I we'll say we had to subdue these men.
Why? I'm not going to go hiding behind you.
You are this time. Your paper happens to be the only way we're going to have honest news around here. Now, you want people to think it's edited by a hot-tempered brawler?
I see your point, Wyatt.
Thanks.
What? Doc Holliday left this here note for you.
I'm wrong, Wyatt?
Doc Holliday seems to think so. Of course, Pete Spence may have been making drunk talk. On the other hand, it could be true. Frank Stillwell is Bean's deputy.
He thinks they may try stopping the stage and killing me, huh?
They might. I can tell you what you do. You get off the stage, at the first water stop, hide in the brush. Mr. Gibbs and I will be along.
All right.
Howdy, Marshal.
Howdy, Mr. McDaniels. Hey, what else are you carrying besides passengers?
Nothing but the Wells Fargo box and a mail sack.
I had a tip that you may be stopped down the trail from your first halt for water.
Well, in that case, you better ride shotgun.
No, that'd be a tip-off that I knew about it. Tell you what, if you are stopped, don't make a fight. I'll be along. You just get a good look at the road agents.
You're the marshal.
All aboard. Come on, folks. Stage is leaving.
All right, honey. You have a good time and take care of yourself.
I will. Bye, dear.
Bye.
We should take Clem right at the water stop.
No, I got my orders from Bean, Pete. Johnny gets fidgety about deals like this. Newspaper editors ain't supposed to get killed.
Now, the blabbermouths should be killed.
Yeah, the way you can bury 'em quick and deep. We'll take 'em right down there.
Is the grave dug?
Right over by the cottonwood. Some old man Clanton's boys worked last night. Johnny Bean thinks everything.
Well, I'm taking it better now, Frank. Because if there's anything I hate, it's digging a grave on a hot day.
For water, folks. 5 minutes.
Howdy, Muzzler. I'm looking for a Mr. Clum. He's supposed to get off the stage here.
He wandered off into the brush over yonder. Figured he was killing time. I reckon he killed too much of it, though. I left without him.
Oh, thank you.
Let's go.
All right, everybody out.
John Clum ain't aboard.
But we can still collect some money. Hand down that box.
Oh, you sure got yourself lost.
Well, I wanted to make it look good, Wyatt.
Well, if we hustle, may stop him from robbing that stage.
I don't know, White. They got a pretty big lead on us.
Well, we got to give it a good try, Mr. Gibbs. I'm sure Mr. Reppy won't like being held up any more than Wells Fargo will. What's the matter with your mules? He sick?
No, sir. You just don't see no sense in working in all this heat.
Promise him another apple.
Pay attention now. I'll give you an apple if you don't balk. And I'll give you a whooping if you do. Yeah! Now, let's go.
Why, you didn't even fire a shot. What kind of driver are you?
They took my watch that was imported from Switzerland.
I'm going to report you to Wells Fargo, driver.
Now, you do just that. If I'd have fired at him, One of you people that got shot.
Anybody hurt?
They just rode off. Can't be more than a half a mile away.
Go get him, Marshal.
Lady, you get inside and rest yourself.
I'll help you, ma'am.
Recognize anybody?
Frank Stillwell. He was masked, but he's wearing the same pair of fancy boots I saw him in Bisbee last week.
Describe the boots.
Well, they were light tan with silver thread stitching. Very fancy. Look here. Heel prints. Stillwell's a Texan. See the Lone Star pattern on those boot heels?
Are you sure it was Frank Stillwell?
I take an oath on it.
What? Now we've got him. Ian's own deputy robbing a stagecoach.
No, sir.
What do you mean, no, sir?
I haven't caught Stillwell or the man that was with him yet.
Well, now, Mr. McDaniel's word is good enough for me.
Well, now, you're not going to print that.
Well, I certainly am, White. It's a story I've been waiting for. Now, you just stick to arresting Stillwell and let me publish my newspaper.
You better go slow, Mr. Clump.
You just read page 1, Wyatt.
Hey, boss, what about me?
You go on to Benson, Reppy. Meet Mrs. Clem and see that you get home safely, you hear? Mr. Soren. Mr. Soren!
Yes, sir. Here's page 1.
You tear it up, Mr. Soren.
Tear it? Well, what happened? Somebody shoot Governor Fremont?
I write and you print. Now get going, Mr. Soren.
Yes, sir, boss.
Wyatt, have you seen this?
Yes.
What can John prove what he wrote?
Well, I don't know. Bean's going to sue. Judge Spice will be here tonight. Doesn't give me much time.
But he can't afford to pay a judgment. We all tried to get him to hold on to his temper. This means he'll lose the newspaper, doesn't it?
Probably. Unless I can find Frank Stillwell.
Stillwell, is that the deputy that he wrote about?
Yeah.
He just came into town not half an hour ago with Pete Spence.
You sure?
They pulled up in front of the Birdcage Saloon.
Excuse me.
It appears to be in good working order to me.
What about a drink, Shotgun?
Yeah. Give me the usual sarsaparilla. And put a right smart ice in it, will you?
You bet. Want one for Roscoe, too?
No, not today. He's got the colic.
Is Roscoe another one of Herb's deputies?
No, he's my mule.
You trying to make a joke?
I don't joke about Roscoe. I wouldn't take it kindly if you used to make small of him, mister.
Lay off, Pete.
Mr. Gibbs, I'll take over patrol. You go look after Roscoe.
Well, thank you, Wyatt. I got to walk that critter and cool him out a bit. I didn't ask this one with a star. How come he's a-wearing it?
I'm Frank Stillwell, and I'm Bean's deputy over at Bisbee.
Well, ask Bean.
I believe you, Mr. Stillwell. Mr. Gibbs, check your shotgun?
Yep. Like to have some ice water, Marshal?
No, thanks. I gotta hustle along. You seeing you, Mr. Stillwell?
Sarsaparilla and ice water.
Shut it. We're in the clear. We keep it that way.
Criminal libel, that's what it is.
Yes, but Sheriff...
Don't yes but me. Now, you go draw up the papers. You know what I want you to do. Get out, Bates.
Oh, Marshal, won't you talk to the sheriff? He wants to sue Mayor Clum for $50,000.
You heard what I said. Go draw up the papers, now.
You're the one who's suing.
I think I better go look for a certain party.
Yeah, look in all the saloons.
Who you sore at, Johnny?
As if you didn't know.
Well, Now, if I were you, I wouldn't sue Mr. Clum. He just might prove it on you.
No deputy of mine is a stage robber, and I didn't plot to murder Clum. I'm going to arrest that fool on a criminal libel warrant. Let's see you try to stop me.
This defendant willfully, maliciously libeled Sheriff Bean. By the evidence of this newspaper, Mr. Clum accused Sheriff Bean of appointing a road agent as his deputy, and by implication connected him with an alleged attempt on Mr. Clum's life. We therefore ask that the court rule for the plaintiff in the civil libel action, and that Mr. Clum be remanded to jail pending sentence for criminal libel.
Mr. Clum.
Yes, Your Honor.
The only defense a newspaper man has against an action of this kind is to prove that his newspaper told the truth. Now, do you have any evidence to support your charges against Sheriff Bean?
Well, I haven't had time to verify all of my evidence, Your Honor. Sheriff Bean arrested me just this afternoon. However, Marshal Earp is working on the case right now.
He has no proof. He printed lies. Lies!
Sit down, sir. Now, Mr. Clum, a newspaper has no right to accuse anyone of a felony unless it is prepared to offer substantial proof. Now...
The court, please.
Yes, Mr. Earp.
This is Mr. Frank Stillwell, appointed deputy sheriff by Sheriff Bean. At the robbery today, I saw prints of these heels. Mr. Clum, Mr. Gibbs, and I can testify as having seen the prints. This gentleman here will testify that he changed these heels for Mr. Stillwell. Mr. Stillwell is now wearing low heels, new ones, as the court can see.
Sheriff Bean, Mr. Earp has produced strong circumstantial evidence that your deputy, Mr. Stillwell, did take part in that stage robbery.
A pair of boot heels.
More than that, Your Honor. I can produce Levi McDaniel, driver of the stage. Mr. McDaniel is prepared to positively identify Mr. Stillwell as being at the robbery.
I can't help it if one of my deputies goes wrong.
You appointed him. You even defended him until the weight of evidence began to frighten you. It is the advice of this court that you drop your charges against Mr. Clum. If you take this case before a jury, you may be found guilty of collusion, and a charge of malfeasance in office would then be in order. Now, what do you say?
I'll drop the charges.
Why'd you just wait till John Bean reads my edition tomorrow? I'm going to run a cartoon of a skunk nailed to a barn door. And editorially, I'm going to say...
Editorially, you were going to say?
That he's a knave, a poltroon, and a double-dealing scoundrel. Such as John Bean, and such as he is, my newspaper will always fight. That's what I'm going to say editorially.
John Clum, fighting editor.
With Doc Holliday that the warnings merely bored him or increased his loyalty to Doc. But when the Wells Fargo office in Tombstone was robbed of $40,000 and witnesses identified Holliday as one of the robbers, Wyatt's already difficult position in Tombstone became more impossible.
Come on, Doc. Let's take a little walk. That's a boy. You want to sit down?
Drink some more of this.
No.
Doc. Doc, try to understand what I'm going to say. Two men blew the Wells Fargo safe. They got away with $40,000.
$40,000. Boy, Wells Fargo must be weeping big brass tears.
This isn't funny. You're identified as one of the robbers.
I was identified.
Witnesses said they seen you.
How much did I get?
Well, we found 5 $1,000 government bonds in your saddlebag.
No, it couldn't have been me. Now, if there were 2 robbers and I were one of them, I'd have gotten at least half of that $40,000. In fact, if I know myself at all, my share would have been more than half of that money.
Doc, this ain't no laughing matter. They're gonna send you up to prison.
Yeah. Right now, I need a drink and some sleep.
Well, he does need the sleep. Come on, take him over to his hotel room.
Let's go the back way.
Yeah. Cost me $70 to put them clothes together. Yeah. Worth every cent of it.
Putting some Mickey fins in Doc's liquor was smart, too. Why, he'll never know what happened.
No, not until he wakes up. Then he'll get caught with them government bonds.
Well, what's our next move, Ratsy?
Hide the money, then we go back to Tombstone.
Tombstone? Not me.
You and me. Both of us. I aim to sit right there in court till they send Doc to prison. Huh. I'm gonna laugh right in his face.
You finished playing poker at about 2:30 over in Galeyville and headed back for Tombstone, right?
Yeah. Somebody fixed my drink. I took a nap along the trail. It was almost 5 o'clock before I got into Tombstone.
Well, the robbery took place 10 minutes before. That ruins your poker alibi.
It's right. Looks like I'm a goner.
Who could have framed you? This safe blowing was a good professional job. Used drills and nitroglycerin. Not too many know how to use it.
Yep. I've played cards with a lot of safecrackers, Wyatt. Boy, they sure bet explosively. Everything on 3 aces or a full house.
Look, when you start thinking seriously about this, you're in trouble. Now, if you want me to help you, I need a lead and a good one.
True.
Now, try to think who it was. Somebody who hates you. Somebody who's careful enough to time things out just right. And smart enough to copy your clothes.
Why, I've made so many enemies over a period of time. It'd take me a long, long time to sort them out.
Who is it?
Shotgun. Doc Goodfeller says that it might have been Mickey Fins. But he says you're going to have to send it to Kansas City to get a chemical report.
It'll take 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Mr. Thacker's all head up. He says you're going to have to keep Doc in jail.
When's Jet Spicer get in?
This evening, I think.
Well, I can keep Doc incommunicado for 24 hours. It's none of Thacker's business where I have him.
And old man Clinton's sitting downstairs in the lobby waiting for you. He's mighty head up, too.
Clanton? What about?
Didn't say. Oh, Doc, Blinky Davis sent that there package to you. Said him and the boys all chipped in. They want you to get the best lawyer in town. Blinky said he'd supply all the witnesses you need.
Blinky Davis, that wonderful conniver. Well, there must be $3,000 here, Wyatt. Every hoodlum in town must have chipped in. A love that passeth all understanding, Wyatt. I need a sharp lawyer and 10 good witnesses who don't care how they perjure themselves.
You can't pull that on Judge Spicer.
Well, they're trying to frame him. You can call me as a character witness.
Thank you, Gibbs.
Now, wait a minute. I'm a marshal and an officer of the court. You can't rig a defense. Doc, I told you before, this is not a funny matter. Now, you could get 20 years.
Take it easy, Wyatt. I'm going to be my own lawyer. Shotgun, return this cash with my thanks.
Well, if you say so, Doc. Wyatt, you better find out why old man Clanton's a raring so. Maybe he knows something.
Maybe he does. You stay here with Doc. Don't let him drink anything. I want him to think about who framed him.
You're not only a John Law. You're a thick-headed, sanctimonious John Law.
But I'm sorry you feel that way, Mr. Clanton.
You know blame well Doc Holliday ain't no thief. Why, he cleaned out the Figaro game and the poker game at Galeyville last night. He had any money on him, he won it honest.
Well, he was framed, Mr. Clanton.
Framed?
That's right. 2 men pulled that job. One of them was dressed like Doc. They spiked his liquor and planted stolen government bonds on him.
Why, that's the lowest down trick I ever heard of. Doc's your friend. You letting them get away with this?
I haven't got any leads yet.
Typical John Law hogwash.
I'm going to get a list of the names of the men that Doc has had trouble with. That may lead us somewhere.
Yeah, you get them names, but don't bother with the killed ones, just the ones that got back on their feet and started hating him.
Why are you so interested in Doc?
Well, there's only 2 people in this town I got any use for, Miss Nellie Cashman and Doc Holliday. And I ain't letting no passel of safe-cracking hoodlums frame Doc.
Doc has got more friends than he thought he had.
You send me them names, and then keep out of my way. Go sit in the shade and polish that tin star. I'll do some real police work. Get out!
Now, what do you got to be humming about?
This affair amuses me, Mr. Gibbs.
A term in prison makes you smile, does it?
Yep. Do you know the meaning of the word irony, Gibbs?
Nope.
Well, when a man escapes punishment for what he did and gets punished for what he didn't, that's irony.
Idea fidgets me.
My sense of irony has not been entirely satisfied. The jury should vote to hang me.
Hush up talking that way, will you, Doc?
Hanging would be my artistic end. Probably what I deserve. But instead, I guess they'll just let me sit out the rest of my days in a prison cell. Anticlimax is the word for that, Gibbs. Ah, well, what a day I'll have in court. I'm going to be my own lawyer.
Why'd you talk to him? You just don't seem to care no more.
Wyatt, do you think that old man Clanton framed me?
No, he wants to help you.
That's incredible. First Blinky Davis, and now old man Clanton wants to help me. The reward of a misspent life.
Change your tune, Doc. You're a friend of mine. What happens to you, I'm serious about.
All right. You name the tune.
You sit down. Make out that list of all the men that you've tangled with.
The dead ones, too?
No, just the survivors. Now, think hard. I want the time, places, names, everything you can think of.
Look, we're here as cattle buyers. We check our guns and keep out of trouble.
Two over here, bartender.
Right away. Let's see if there are any more. Yes. There's a bank robber by the name of Ratsy Melbourne. But he's kind of doubtful.
Doubtful?
Mm-hmm. I shot at him in Van Horn, Texas, about 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, why doubtful?
Well, I think he died. There wasn't time to make sure.
Write him down. I'll take you on over to the jail. I don't want Thacker complaining.
What are you going to do with this list?
I sent a copy of it to Clanton. He'll know most of these hoodlums and where they are now. Come on.
That's what I said. You know what I'm talking about. And you owe me $30.
Are you calling me a liar?
You're a liar and a horse thief. We were just standing talking, having a drink, and he got in an argument because I just asked him for some money he owed me. He drew first, Marshal. Honest, he did. It was self-defense. That's what it was.
My friend, do you know old man Clanton?
I ought to. I work for him.
Well, you tell Clanton that Ratsy Melbourne is in town. Also tell him that the message comes from Dr. John H. Holliday.
For $20, I'll raise plenty of dust.
The other one died. Yeah, I thought I told you to wait in the jail.
You did? But I met an old acquaintance.
Let's go.
Evening, Wyatt.
Howdy, Judge.
Looks like you had an explosion at the Wells Fargo office.
Yes, sir, we did. I'd like to talk to you about it.
All right. Supper can wait.
Wyatt, your friendship with Doc Holliday has been the one mistake of your career. Your friends have been worried about it for a long time. I know what you're going to say, and loyalty is an admirable trait.
Well, Doc has been loyal to me. He saved my life in Dodge. Look, Judge, I'm going to ask you one simple favor. The continuance of the case for a few weeks. It's going to take time to trace Doc's enemies.
I can't give it to you. For your own sake.
Well, I don't care what people say. Let them talk.
Well, I do. Now, this is a hoodlum town. And there are only a handful of decent people on our side. And if we give them the idea that the law is granting favors to Doc Holliday, we'll lose even the support of them. Doc Holliday goes on trial tomorrow. I took an oath to serve the law.
Yes, sir, so did I. There's one other thing. We've got Doc under guard in his hotel room. You know, he's a very sick man.
Well, the court will stretch a point there. He could get out on bail anyway.
Thank you, sir.
But warn him not to try any tricks.
Tricks?
Cook up evidence, phony alibis, hoodlum testimony.
Judge, the hoodlums gave Doc $3,000 to hire a lawyer and provided him with alibi witnesses. He gave the money back.
Huh? That's a surprise, I must say.
Well, Doc is a very strange man. He's lived with death for a long time. He's the one absolutely fearless character I know. I think he wants to be convicted.
Why?
His last grim joke on the law, die in prison with his boots off, chuckling.
I reckon you boys know the job we got to do. Ratsy Melbourne framed Doc Holliday, and I aim to catch up with Ratsy and make him tell the truth. Wyatt Earp couldn't do that in 100 years. Takes the Clantons, by Joe, to see that justice is done. We're going to Tombstone.
Doc?
One moment. Now, sir?
I just talked to Judge Spicer. You go on trial in the morning.
All right. Your move.
Wait a minute. Now, Spicer isn't going to be prejudiced, but he's going to be tough. That jury's going to be loaded with prominent citizens.
Naturally.
Then you hire a lawyer and keep your own mouth shut.
I appreciate your advice, sir, but the answer is no.
Doc, you're gonna get them folks all riled up.
I wouldn't miss this for anything in the world. Too bad I can't win. It's your move.
You know, this is really living, Hoss. Yes, sir. In about 2 hours, we'll be sitting at Doc's trial.
You know, I bet Doc gets 20 years.
Yeah, well, 10 years will be enough. He can't live that long in prison. See who that is.
Who is it?
N.H. Clanton, open up.
It's old man Clanton.
Let him in.
What's the idea?
You low-down, wicked scum.
What'd I do to you?
Framing Doc Holliday, you ought to be killed right here.
Of all the... You're a good one to be lecturing me, you cattle-rustling old buzzard.
Take him. I never framed nobody in my whole life. It takes a mean criminal type like you, Ratsy, to even think of such a skunky trick.
Who says I framed Doc?
I say it. And before we're finished, you'll say it. Right out in court.
You think so?
Take him out the back way. Livery stable's more private. If I was you, Ratsy, I'd talk.
You ain't me.
All right, swing him.
Let's go.
That's high enough.
You can't get away with this. There's some law in Tombstone.
Oh, sure, a buttonhead named Wyatt Earp's over at the courthouse now, trying to hang Doc Holliday for what you fellas done. Ratsy?
I hear you.
Time we get through with you.
You can't torture us into confessing. It ain't legal.
Legal? I ain't legal. That's how come I can do better police work than Wyatt Earp.
You're bluffing.
Bluffing? Well, now, I ain't dressed a hog since, could be 5, 6 years' worth. Might be a bit rusty, but anyhow, lower him down to hog dressing height. That's good, that's good. Now, let's...
Don't, I give up. Ratsy's gave the whole thing.
All right, boys, let the horse down. We'll start on Ratsy.
The prosecution will show that the defendant, Dr. John H. Holliday, was seen leaving the Wells Fargo Express office by reputable witnesses. Further, we will show that when the defendant was arrested, he had 5 $1,000 government bonds in his saddlebag. Now, Your Honor, the serial numbers on these bonds prove that they were among those taken from the Wells Fargo shipment. And finally, we will show that the defendant could not account for his whereabouts both before and after the robbery. Thank you.
Dr. Holliday?
Yes, sir.
You are appearing as your own counsel. Do you have an opening statement?
I most certainly do. I move the court declare a mistrial.
On what grounds, sir?
The law provides that a man charged with a crime be tried by a jury of his peers.
That is correct.
Are these men my peers? I know each and every one of them. And I say this to the court, that they are swine, incapable of weighing the law or the evidence. In fact, Your Honor, I doubt if half this jury could weigh 10 pounds of hominy grits without tampering with the scale.
That will do, sir. Your opinion of the jury is irrelevant and immaterial, Dr. Holliday. You have failed to challenge one veneerman.
All donkeys look alike to me, Your Honor. And speaking of donkeys, I should like to refresh the court's memory of what Peter the Great said about lawyers.
The court is not interested.
The judge is supposed to be a lawyer, and he should be interested.
That's enough. Any further disturbance, and I will clear the court.
When Peter the Great was visiting London, he said, "I have but 2 lawyers in my kingdom. I mean to hang one of them when I get home."
You want him to hang you?
The court will tolerate no more remarks from this defendant. An opening statement is to be confined to what the defendant believes he can prove. Now, is there anything you can prove in your own defense, sir?
Yes, sir. I was framed, and I expect to prove it.
Well, do you have any reputable witnesses to support your claim?
I'll take their word against any witnesses for the prosecution.
Indeed, sir.
Your Honor, My defense depends upon the testimony of hoodlums. I wouldn't have it otherwise. A good, honest hoodlum is the noblest work of the devil. His lesser creations turn into judges and juries.
Marshal alert! Clear the court. Dr. Holliday, the jury has found you guilty of grand theft. There has been no recommendation for mercy. However, the court is willing to hear medical testimony as to your physical condition, if you choose to present it.
My physical condition is excellent, and my spiritual condition is better than any legal blatherskite in this country, including you, sir.
Very well. I shall pronounce sentence. What's the meaning of this?
Will you hush up? I brung you the two varmints what robbed Wells Fargo and framed Doc Holliday. Swear 'em in. They'll tell the truth.
Mr. Clanton, have these men been under any duress?
Duress? What's that?
Have they been manhandled or threatened?
Why?
How about it, Ratsey?
No, sir. We're confessing of our own free will. But you got to keep him away from us until we're safe. In prison.
Mr. Earp, remove the prisoners.
Yes.
Well, Doc, you had horseshoes in both your pockets. I couldn't help you. There was only by the slimmest chance that Clanton could. Now, one of these fine days, one of your hoodlum friends turned enemy is going to kill you.
Please, Deacon, no sermon. Like I said before, not while I'm enjoying myself.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Oh, Wyatt Earp!